The main bit of advice that I would give to anybody starting a business is to make sure that what you're doing is unique, because there's no satisfaction in copying another brand, and you will never succeed past another brand if you're just copying what they do. So I think that if you are going to start a brand, make sure that you have something new to bring to the market, because if not, you're not going to succeed, really. That's the top and bottom of it.
We are back. Hello, welcome back to the Social Conversation. Me and Adam have returned, and we're also joined by Jordan McCabe. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it is afternoon, actually.
It is afternoon, yeah.
It
Not
is.
sure what day it is, but it's definitely afternoon.
I'm losing track of time, what day it is, what week it is. I don't even know
really
what
think
year
it
it
matters
is.
anymore, does it? I wish it wasn't 2020, that's for sure.
I know.
What
Yeah.
shambles this has been.
How are you dealing with lockdown, Jordan?
Do you know what? I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. I can't really say that it's been a struggle for me. I think I'm in a pretty lucky, good position in comparison to a lot of people. We've just kind of carried on as normal. I mean, everyone's working from home. We've got one person in the warehouse that's still shipping out orders. But apart from that, I mean, this is probably the most chilled I've been in years. It's great, really. I'm quite enjoying it. It's really amazing how quickly everyone seems to have just adapted.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's so normal now, isn't it? Like, I can't even imagine, like, why would we go back to the office when everyone's just fine at home? It's weird.
Yeah, it's
especially like online businesses such as ourselves. It's like really easy to adapt because we were already like partially online and could probably work from home anyway.
The culture part of being in the office, I think, with your friends, and obviously you make friends with your work colleagues and stuff. I think that's the only thing that's really missing from my business now.
Yeah,
I miss playing pool. That's what I miss. I miss like
I was just going to say that, mate.
Crack. It's like the crack in the office is what I miss the most. Like everyone from the social club, we can all work from home. Really, we genuinely can. But it's getting the vibe and like the inspiration from people when you sat next to like other videographers or photographers. Bouncing off each other, exactly. So
it was really weird at first. I think, like, trying to do everything through like Zoom calls and through messages and through WhatsApp. But yeah, it's just weird how quickly it's become normal.
Yeah,
like it's absolutely fine now.
I know. People have just adapted so quickly. It's crazy.
There's a lot of businesses that like haven't adapted very well at all, though.
Yeah, there is some that haven't.
Like,
I think it depends how used to you are. Like, a lot of people working like on like young, we use our computers all the time. I think it's like a different perspective when it comes from a business. It's maybe not as online based, that they found it quite difficult.
I mean, Primark have made 0 sales since lockdown.
Oh my god,
started.
I know. Did you see? I think it was
Zero.
Zara said
0 sales.
0. Oh yeah, they have nothing online, do they?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. They have no online sales.
0.
Apparently, they have like 1.5 billion pounds worth of stock just sitting waiting to be sold.
Oh, that's bad.
No,
that's pretty bad.
I mean, as if Primark wasn't cheap enough, there's going to be hella sales when they all open up. It's going to be crazy.
Like
That's
2 seasons
crazy.
behind on everything. I mean, they always are.
I did
anyway,
read that
but...
yesterday, actually. Yeah, fair.
That's crazy.
So how have things changed quite a lot at Aztec for you guys, or you're just very much the same sort of process?
When the virus first kind of was apparent in the UK and everybody started to panic a little bit, we had about 2.5-3 weeks where sales literally dropped by like 60-70%. It was really like literally just instantly cut off. There was barely anything coming through. So we were like, we're luckily in a really good position, just come off the back of Christmas, got quite a lot of cash reserves. So it wasn't really a huge worry, but obviously you're thinking it's going to set you back quite a while if you're down 60-70% of sales for 3 months, for however long it was going to be. And then literally after a few weeks, I think when everyone kind of settled in at home and like really just got focused and normal again, with everybody being at home, our sales have been phenomenal. It's like Christmas kind of sales. And I think it's just because people are at home. Obviously, people are still getting to ride the horses, I'm guessing. And yeah, I can't complain at all. I'm so lucky that we've seen a rise, not a drop.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it?
I was shocked, to be honest, because I didn't expect it. I thought people would be kind of a bit more reserved about what they were spending and things, but yeah, it seems it's really working at the minute.
I mean, everyone's ordering everything at the moment. If there's a time to get stuff delivered, it's now. Like Harry on the media team was saying that he's just got an endless stream of Amazon parcels arriving at his house.
Every day there's something coming to my house. Like
I haven't been living at home. I've been living with my partner, and every day when the doorbell goes and the Amazon guy's there again with another 7 boxes, I'm like, what more could we possibly need? It's like a sorting office in the kitchen. There's just boxes everywhere. I feel sorry for the Amazon delivery drivers, because I swear I think that's what everyone's been doing.
Yeah, literally, they're just sat at home shopping, aren't they? What else do you do? What else do you do?
100%. 100%.
And you've got all this like money that you would usually spend on going out, getting food, like lunchtime. But yeah, everyone thinks they've got paid more because you haven't. You just don't have anything to spend your money on.
Spent any money, yeah.
Yeah. So
I saw that Monzo Banking. They put like at the end of the year they do like your year in review of like what you've been spending, and usually it's like like travel and groceries and all that sort of stuff. But they've done it for this year. It's like, oh, it's going to look a bit weird at the end of 2020 because it's groceries goes up like that, and travel and like nights out and everything else just drops off a cliff.
It's just gonna be. I just can't like imagine it now when everything opens again. Like everything's gonna be so strange. I saw somebody, I think it was Nike, had posted like a virtual gym, like a picture of a virtual gym of what it's going to look like as socially distanced, and it was just the weirdest thing ever. And you think like that's what's actually going to be normal now.
Yeah.
It's really strange to think about.
I mean, it's kind of I would say it's given us a push in the right direction though.
Yeah,
on like 100%. A lot of things.
Yeah, I think it's really kind of made everybody realize what's actually valuable in life and what's not, because it doesn't matter how much money you have at the minute, nobody can go anywhere or do anything. It is strange.
It really shows you how important your sanity is as well when you're stuck in a box like 7 days a week.
Yeah.
No, I can't even imagine it because I'm quite lucky. We've got, obviously, we even just living in the Northeast, I think we're quite lucky. We all live in houses. We all have gardens. There's quite a lot of free open space we can use. And then you've got people like, I've got friends in London that are in like 1-bedroom flats with no balconies, and it's hotter down there as well. And you just think, God, like we are so lucky.
Like going on like a walk here or a bike ride is so like, it's gorgeous. Like you've got countrysides for miles, haven't you?
There's nobody stopping you asking where you're going, or there's not really anybody policing kind of what we're doing.
But in London, like, I couldn't imagine going for a run or a bike ride. Like, oh God,
live a city.
Yeah, wouldn't be nice at all. But yeah, we're definitely lucky living up north for sure.
Yeah. How long do you think it's going to go on for? I stopped reading the news and watching the news because I was getting myself, I'm not an anxious person, but I kept watching the news, and obviously I watched that 10 minutes, I shouldn't have done this. I watched 10 minutes of that BBC documentary, the Inside Humane one, where it was like going into the hospitals. Oh my God, it was petrifying. And after that, I was like just mortified that I was going to get this disease and my mum was going to get this disease. And so I just stopped watching the news. So I'm a little bit oblivious as to what's actually kind of been going on.
So they're saying that it's going to be like July, isn't it? Start of July where hospitality venues are going to open, but that's the earliest. So it could end up being later than that. But they're saying that like 3rd of July, I think, is the earliest bars, restaurants, cinemas are going to open. But even when that happens, surely they're going to have measures in place that because everyone's going to go mad.
Yeah.
This is the thing. As soon as you have a few drinks, like as much as everybody wants to stick to social distancing, like nobody's going to do that.
No, there's no way. So I think something else has to happen first. I don't know if they slowly let you meet up with little groups first.
That's
maybe middle of June or something. They start letting you do like little, like groups of 5, groups of 10
outside
people max,
something like that. Yeah,
outside. And then see, I would honestly, I don't really know that much about it all, obviously, but if it was me, I wouldn't let anyone go to pubs and restaurants and stuff till like way later in the year.
I think it's one of them things. It's not necessary for any of us to go to a bar, really. Obviously, it's not nice for the hospitality industry where they're not making any money. But like realistically, none of us need to go to a bar. It's not an essential.
I think it depends on who you speak to there, though.
Yeah,
yeah, that's so true. That is true.
No, I've got to get a pint in, is that where?
I must have a tequila.
I mean, you'll be all right, Dean. You haven't drank in, what is it, 2 years now?
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah. I just did a little YouTube video on it, so I'm going to link that in the show notes just because I can. It started in November, 18 months ago, whichever year that was, 2018, and I'm like 18 months in a few days, so that's where I'm cutting it. But yeah, it's been interesting.
Was there a reason for it,
or? There was a lot of things that I needed to do, like in the last year and a half. So I thought I'd kind of try and challenge myself. And I kind of started it by accident. And then I got to I did dry January, and then I did it for Lent. And then I got to 6 months, and I was like, I'm just going to push this to a year. And then I got to a year, and I was like, I may as well just push it a little bit further. And then all of this happened, so I just kind of I've had no reason to drink, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge drinker, to be honest.
No, same. I could
on holiday I couldn't not drink, but apart from that, like I never really drink at home.
No, I'm not a big go out guy. Like maybe the local pub with like my local friends who I've known forever. Like that's like I enjoy that, and then the occasional night out. But I'm not really the kind of person to go out every weekend. It's not my vibe.
You just prefer to spend more money on your car than on alcohol.
Yeah, I'd rather save all the money for my car. Yeah.
I bet Ali's pleased to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she is. But yeah, crazy times. I just hope it all gets back to normal, like correctly. I'd rather obviously everyone would rather us not to have a second wave because that would be horrible. Surely they can't lock the country down again. Like the amount of money the country's losing every single day.
Because I know you have a lot of clients that are in hospitality. Have they seen, obviously, are there any of them in problem, or have you seen a lot of?
So yeah, like I don't know what the exact percentage is, but there's probably like 70-80% of our clients are hospitality. Like a lot of them are hospitality.
Yeah, you have a lot of hotels and things like that, don't you?
Hotels, restaurants, and stuff
Food
like that.
Venues, yeah.
That obviously it's awful for them. And us for posting content and stuff is obviously it's hard as well. But I don't know, for their sake, obviously I want it to be as fast as possible. But for like, I think they've got to do it correctly. You know, if they do open restaurants, do you only put a certain amount of tables in the restaurants, or
this
only
is the thing? But then
like
is that going to be worth them opening the venues?
Because surely if they've got a certain amount of tables, they have to fill them tables every so often to make the. I don't know how.
Revenue, they'd have to police it as well, so they probably need more like door staff and. God, it's a difficult one. I'm glad I'm not in that industry anyway.
Oh yeah.
God.
I know. I mean, let's see what happens. I just hope it's done correctly. But I think the government will I think obviously they're going to try their best to get it sorted as soon as possible. So
I think I'm just quite surprised at how easy I've found it, to be honest. I do miss my mum though. I haven't seen my mum in like 6 weeks, so I'm missing my mum.
Yeah, luckily I moved home, so I'm getting my meals cooked for me, my washing done.
Oh, amazing.
I'm chilling. So
you're living the dream.
I'm living the dream, but it would be. I can imagine it being hard for people who, especially, don't live with their partners, like the boyfriends or the girlfriends.
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends are like that, and that must be quite difficult.
Yeah, especially when people are seeing each other like every day or every other day. This is like completely cut that. So
I mean, I work with my mum, so I see my mum every single day, and this is the longest in my life I haven't seen her. It's so strange.
Yeah, see, for me, it's changed like even less because I'll see my parents maybe like once a month, just because we're like that. Not that I have a bad relationship or anything, but I just see them like once a month. So I'll just cycle past the window. I'm like, "Hi, Mum." That's about it, really.
This is what I look like.
Yeah. Hello, I'm still alive. Yep. Okay, carry on. See you later. See you next month.
See you at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See you at Christmas, and then maybe at birthdays, and then that's about it, really.
No, we are in a very lucky position where we work for a digital marketing agency where it's all online. You obviously, Jordan, it's all online for you, isn't it, as well? So
yeah,
it's so. Yeah, I've got
my stepdad, who is the warehouse manager. He's been going in every day, bless him, and doing all the orders by himself. So we're all pretty safe, but all keeping busy. So it's good.
It's scary to think like these companies who don't have an online presence. Yeah, who are just like.
I didn't think about Primark. That was a good one, Dean. Didn't think about them.
That is mental. But yeah, obviously, what's your thoughts on that, John? Do you think obviously lockdown has like emphasized just how important it is to have that online presence, especially for a fashion brand?
So I think it will definitely change the way a lot of brands work, and I think that it'll just be because of a lot of the brands probably won't be able to afford to reopen the stores after having the loss of like the paying the rents on Oxford Street and things like that. You would expect having no walk-in revenue is going to have a massive effect on some companies. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it'll change the way we live. I think everything that we can do is now going to be more online than it would be in person anyway. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
It's funny because it was all heading that way, like very slowly.
Anyway, yeah, it was, yeah.
Very slowly, but everyone was, shops, shops are closing in town centres, like they're just dropping. Look, the Metro Centre is like literally.
I'm pretty sure. I read something the other day about that might not actually reopen.
Yeah, like that's crazy. But that's the biggest shopping place in
the UK, isn't it?
In the UK or England. Yeah, that's crazy.
I've missed that. So, did they say that it might not open again?
Like it's like,
I think it's quite. I think I read something the other day that it's in debt anyway. It was in debt before.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
That's scary to think though, because I love the Metro. I probably love it. Like,
if I go shopping, I do go to the Metro.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I'm more of an online kind of girl.
Yeah,
it's too much effort. I mean, shopping takes too long.
With it being the biggest in the UK, surely someone's going to buy it though. Like, but then again,
do you know anyone with 2 billion or?
It's going to be one of these it's going to be one of these like big billionaire
like Mike
princes. Sure. Oh yeah, something like that. Someone who has loads of money. But I mean, that's crazy. It's scary. It is scary, genuinely. Because I can imagine what it's going to be like if this like keeps progressing. It's like this, you know. In 10 years' time, there might be not any shops at all on the front. It's all online,
isn't it?
Like that's.
I always keep thinking, imagine in like 10 years' time when we're looking back at this year and trying to explain it to people, like what it was like. It's just good. Like imagine you couldn't leave the house for 3 months. People are going to be like, "Shut up, that didn't happen."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like when you're telling your kids in like 20 years' time.
It's going to be so weird to explain, isn't it? Like, oh yeah, we had to stay in the house, we couldn't leave, you could only go to the shop,
go to work.
You could only go to Tesco for an hour to get your shopping, then come back.
You had to wait in a queue 2 meters away from the person in front and behind. I was gutted when, like, the first time we went to the shops after the lockdown had been put in place, and we got to the front of the queue, and me and my girlfriend Charlotte were stood in the queue, and the guy was like, "Nope, sorry, only one of you is allowed in at once." And I was just kind of like, "Oh, I'll just."
This is the highlight of my week.
I'll just go wait in the car then. Like, all right, see you later. Just sat in the car, like, "Oh, okay, thanks."
Yeah, I haven't been to the shop yet. That's my confession.
Have you not been to?
You haven't been to the supermarket yet?
No, I haven't been to the supermarket.
You don't want to really, because it's a bit weird.
Have you left the house? Have you gone out? What have you done?
Yeah, I mean, I exercise every day. I've been going on bike rides. I come home once a week. I go to the office once a week. But yeah, I haven't been to the shops yet.
What are you doing online? Like ordering online?
Yeah, or someone else is going.
Nice.
So
I do
the washing up and somebody else does the shopping. That's the deal.
Fair enough.
Love it.
Fair enough.
Love that.
Good deal.
That is a good deal.
Yeah.
Jordan, you've had some exciting news recently, haven't you? You in Forbes 30 under 30.
Yeah, that was. Can you believe that?
Tell us about that.
I cried my eyes out. I couldn't believe it. So I got when I won the Entrepreneur of the Year for Lloyds Bank, which is big enough as it is anyway. One of the bank managers from Lloyds put me forward for the Forbes award, because I don't think it's something that you can apply for. I've never really seen anywhere where you could kind of put yourself forward for that one. So they contacted me, and it was one of them where I had to kind of research the email address, because I was thinking, is this like a fraud or a scam or something? And they asked me for some information and said that they wanted to put me forward in for the judging of the list. And I just didn't think that anything would come of it. And then somebody messaged me one morning and said that I was on, and I just cried. I cried for like 3 hours.
Wait, so they didn't tell you that you were on?
They didn't tell me. They just contacted me and asked for some information. I think this was in like December, January. And like, I didn't really think that much of it because I didn't hear anything back. And then, it was just published, and I think I was first on the retail, which is like insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's mental though. Like, you must be so proud though, like of yourself.
I mean, that's like a life achievement, isn't it? That's something that you can only dream of to achieve in your life. And I'm 24, so that was, it was completely surreal. But I think as well, I just didn't think that I was gonna be on the list, because when you think of Forbes, you think of like crazy money, like Kylie Jenner and billion pound companies,
Elon Musk and all that.
Yeah, that's kind of what you associate with that. So I didn't really picture myself in that category, but I think just because of the way that my brand has changed the industry and just the way that it's being done is obviously quite unique, that's been picked up on. So it was fantastic.
Amazing. That's amazing. So it's basically like, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jordan McCabe. You know,
I might
in that order.
Yeah,
with them next to me.
So, you know, like, so touching on that kind of the success and stuff, like, take us back and, like, you know, how did Aztec kind of start? Like, talk us through that, because I think people want to know.
When I was younger, I'm maybe like around 10 years old, all I ever wanted to do was design equestrian clothing. So I had ponies and rode horses from when I was, I think it was 8 or 9 years old I maybe started. And that was all I'd ever wanted to do. So I was show jumped through my teens, so I competed competitively and found there was a niche in the market for affordable equestrian clothing. I mean, I came from just a normal working class family, and we kind of struggled to keep up with the products and the costs needed associated with the sport, because I think with a lot of sports, a lot of it is money driven, and show jumping is especially money driven, because if you can't afford to get a nice horse, you can't really be good, because you need the horse to be good. So it's a very judgmental industry, I would say, and I always felt quite inadequate that I couldn't afford the only brands that were offering the types of products that were, you know, cool. They were so ridiculously expensive. You know, you're talking £300 for a pair of breeches, £100 for a shirt, and it was just completely unsustainable for a normal family. So I always worked to be able to afford to keep my horses, and yeah, it was something that was definitely an issue as I was growing up. So because I'd always wanted to have the brand, and then I found this niche in the market, which I was, you know, really lucky to find. Starting the brand and, you know, becoming successful was it wasn't easy work wise, but because I was so lucky to find that gap, that something that people needed, you know, it went from here to here quite quickly.
Do you think if you were to go like back, like now, after you've learned everything you've learned, do you think you were doing it the right way? Do you think you go back and change anything? Is there anything that sticks out?
I don't think I would change anything, because I think all of the mistakes that you are given are lessons, and you always come out the other side of them. And I think every time when I look back at things that have gone wrong, and of course things have gone wrong, everybody has problems in business, I wouldn't ask to not have them, because I wouldn't know what I know now. Genuinely,
yeah,
I think
love that.
And it's all part of the journey.
100%.
I think when you first start a brand or any kind of business, I think usually the main motivation for succeeding in the beginning is all to do with money. You know, you want to, well, for me personally, especially, you know, I was always quite obsessed with making money through my teens. I would buy and sell anything. And when I first started the business, you had this number in your head that this is what you want to achieve. And then when you kind of get there, you realize that it's not the number that you're interested in. It's the journey and the process behind it is what you fall in love with. And it's got nothing to do with money. Yeah.
I love that. So would you say that the goals that you set, like when you first started, like, have you achieved them, or did they change?
No, I think I achieved them. I think I always had this very strong figure in my head as to what I wanted, what I wanted the brand to make, and I did achieve that. And I think, you know, one of the funny things is one of my like mood boards that I used to have, like an inspiration board that I had. One of the things on there was being on that Forbes list. And I just pulled that out a few weeks ago when I was clearing out the office just after lockdown. I found it and I thought, you know what, that's crazy. That's fantastic. But yeah, that
amazing.
was one of, yeah, I think things just always change. And I think I now enjoy creating the culture in the business and seeing like my staff improve and learn things. And I think it's more of a journey than a you know, a figure to get to now.
You've got a great little team, like a little squad, haven't you?
Yeah,
I mean, I think I know them all, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think I've met them all, but there's such a great little team, and you're all like in the office, you all work together. There's clearly they're all inspired, and I think that's probably from you, because obviously they've seen you like create this business from like kind of from nothing, and they're like coming into it and, you know, chipping away with their own ideas. And I think it's a good vibe when you come into your place. It's like everyone's just happy all the time. It's good vibes. Everyone's excited to create new things.
Everyone just wants the brand to work, and I think that's the main thing that you can ask for as looking for employees, is that somebody wants to achieve with the brand, so they want to achieve themselves. And I think I hope I do inspire everyone. I think that's what makes a good leader, and that's what I would hope that I would like to do. And I think one of the things has been recently that we've kind of come across in the brand is last year there was no kind of structure in place within the brand, because when you just start a brand yourself as a young person, you don't really understand structures. You've never had it been in a corporate company. You don't really understand what people should do. So it was kind of a little bit messy. Everybody was over each other's jobs. Nobody had kind of set roles. So I got a business mentor last year and we put proper structures in place. We kind of took not a backseat with the progression of the brand, but kind of just allowed the brand to kind of just plateau for a year, put everybody in the right place, trained all the staff, and now it's fantastic because everyone's got their own area, everyone's in charge of what they do. And I think when you give somebody responsibility, they thrive from it. They want to do well because it's their area. It's like their own business within your business. So that's been probably one of the best things we've done.
That's awesome.
That's very awesome. Cool. I mean, the worst thing you can do is kind of micromanage people, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I was the biggest culprit for that, and I think I'm kind of coming out of the way of being like that. But yeah, that was one of my worst traits, I would say. I couldn't leave anything. Adam, you'll probably know this from working with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I don't think I realised that, Jordan. Actually.
I am getting better.
It's good working with someone like you because. I mean, I prefer to work with someone like you. I don't know if you agree, Dean, over someone that doesn't really care. Well, they care. Obviously, they care because they want the business to make money. They want to do well, but they don't care enough to be involved in the creative process. Whereas you're the complete opposite.
When I come back and love it, there'll be so much more satisfaction in that than you just doing it and handing it to someone.
The office is over the moon when you said no more changes. Please believe me.
Oh my god!
It is much better because you do get that like you're much more
like collaborative.
Now that we kind of know how each other's work, there's not really that many changes now.
I did a couple of videos for you, like it was yesterday, right, or the day before yesterday, and that was like it was fine because I kind of know the vibe now, and I know that I might be editing something, and I might say, nah, I know that John's not going to like that, so I'll change it up first. So it's like it. And then maybe in another year's time, when we're still working together, hopefully, it'll be even better. You know, we'll be out shooting, we'll be editing. It'll be so smooth because we just know how each other's companies work. So it's like it's great.
Yeah.
I think that's like part of the creative process, though, isn't it? Is understanding how other people work, so then you can really work together quite well as a team. Definitely. Like you can just bounce off each other. I don't think it matters if you've obviously got different ways of working, but as long as you know how the other person works, then you can be as like productive as possible, can't you?
I'm not a big fan of like clients who don't. It's noticeable when the client doesn't really care as much because they're like, oh, that's fine, or like they ask to change things that I know and they probably know as well that won't change anything, but they're just trying to be involved, and it's like it shows. Whereas you, if there's something that needs changing, it's because it's going to make an impact and it's obvious. Yeah. So it's much better.
I mean, passion just breeds more passion, really, doesn't it? Like if one person is passionate about a brand, then it's gonna like it
makes you, and if you can input towards that, it makes you feel good. Yeah, job satisfaction is a huge thing. I think
the best thing, like especially, Dean, you'll probably agree. If you take a photo or a set of images and the client is like loves them and they're like, oh my god, like the best photos ever, like kind of thing, that's the best. Like if I send a video to a client and they love it, that's like the best. Obviously it's the best thing in the world because you're doing something you love doing, creating something for someone doing what they love. It's like
me getting reviews back on the product.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But that's crazy. Going back to the staff, have you got any funny stories? You must have some funny ones.
Oh, I mean, I've got many funny stories, but we have honestly our office is just an absolute hoot. They're all hilarious. But I think a lot of my staff, obviously, as you know, have been my friends from when I was younger and things like that. So we're all like a really close knit team. But I mean, Clark is honestly one of the funniest people I have ever met in my entire life. I don't even know where we found him. He's so funny.
He's brilliant. He's a joy to be around. He's just, you know when he's there, don't you? Because he's just funny.
He's so sarcastic and just he's just so funny.
Yeah, no, I get along with Clark quite well because I think our humours are quite similar. So it's
You're not sarcastic, are you, Adam?
No, I'm not sarcastic.
No way.
No.
I've got the funniest story for you both. This is my funniest story of all time. There'll never be one story in my life funnier than this. So she might actually kill me for telling you this story, but my mum had laser eye surgery a few years ago, and she got I'm not even going to be able to tell this. She got these goggles given from the surgery that she had to wear, and they were like these huge goggles. They looked like Bugs Life goggles anyway. And at the time, a boiler was broken. So she took a picture and sent it to me, and she had these goggles on and a woolly hat on. She looks ridiculous. She looks absolutely hilarious. But it's a really bad angle. It's like quite a close picture. And anyway, she had it stored on her phone. And nothing more was said about this picture anyway. And then Black Friday 2 years ago, obviously it's a huge day for us, and I think this is probably the biggest Black Friday we've had. We had, I think, over 15,000 orders or something on this one day. Oh, and I was in the gym the morning after. I'm on the treadmill, and somebody texts me, and she said, I just ordered last night, and I just wanted to let you know I've got your order confirmation through on my email, but there's a really weird picture at the top, and I don't know what it is. I just thought I'd let you know. And somehow my mum had accidentally uploaded this picture somewhere.
What? It went to everyone?
Every single person on Black Friday. Oh, honest to God, I couldn't even breathe. I was laid on the floor of the office trying to climb up the stairs to tell everyone. We were getting tagged in posts on Instagram like, I love Aztec Diamond, but what is this picture at the door?
You can imagine people on the phone getting the order like, I've just made the order. Open the email, they're like, what
the hell?
And I mean, thankfully it was so close, and you couldn't really tell it was her. But obviously we all knew it was her, and it was just honestly the funniest day of our life that we've ever had. She'll never live that down.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant.
Oh, hysterical.
Oh, all them people probably so confused.
Who is this woman? You know, on the email, you get that tiny little circle, and to this day, we still don't know how she'd uploaded it onto anything. But we had to find it and take it down. I think it was on like a Microsoft account that was connected to the info at email. But God, that was probably the funniest office story that we've had.
That's hilarious. That is so funny.
Oh my God! I need to see this photo now, to be honest.
I was about to say. We need this photo needs to be shared.
Maybe I'll show you when you come into the office next time.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't send it to anyone because it'll end up going to all your orders again. Oh God, that's funny. Well, what's obviously you've got how many products have you over the years actually put out?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I'll probably say over 500 now because maybe we do seasonally. So I would say maybe like 20 to 30 new products seasonally, twice a year maybe. But yeah, I think we have about 100 online at the minute, maybe different color variations of different things. But I think it's kind of just find that I don't ever really want to have like a huge product range because I think you should find what you're good at and make it the best that you possibly can and stick to that.
100%.
I think that's what I would like to think that we can keep doing.
Have you got a favorite product?
Yeah, I've got two. I think we did a pair of breeches a few years ago, and they were like limited edition pair, and they had like a beautiful like lace pattern design on the back. They were probably one of our favorites. And then the leggings that we've got now, I think they are like kind of what we've strived towards for years. I spent honestly probably 9 months developing the product, and they're amazing. They're so good. I've got one now. I wear them every day.
That's your number one product, right?
Number one product, the best that we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, I see people like randomly on the street wearing your leggings.
Yeah,
I multiple times I've seen people. I'm like, I'm sure I saw someone in the lift once, and I was like, I didn't say anything, but I was gonna go, oh my God, I know them. And they would have looked at me like, what's wrong with this guy? But yeah, I see people with leggings on all the time. It's crazy.
We kind of bridged that gap from leisure wear to equestrian apparel. So I wanted people to be able to go to the yard and ride the horses, but then also go and pick their kids up from school or go to the supermarket and not kind of look like they were wearing riding clothes. That was where the main of the inspiration came from for a lot of these pieces. But I wasn't actually even going to produce riding leggings because I actually invented them. They weren't in the marketplace before I launched the brand. And it was one of those products that was in the first collection, and we weren't sure whether to put it out or not because nobody had done them before. But yeah, thank God we did, because I think they're now I would say, the most popular product in the market, really.
I think that happens to like a lot of people. They'll like music, like artists, for example, they'll think, oh, I might not put this song on the album. I'm not so sure.
Being the best one.
Exactly. It's so weird how that works. So odd.
Very weird.
Is there any like Adam, you'll be in the same boat as me. Like I'll look back on my old work and on certain like shoots and stuff and think, oh my God, what was I thinking? Like, is there any products that you've put out or anything like that in the past that you think, probably wouldn't do that again?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. I think it's just trial and error, really, isn't it? But I think when I look back at some of the first designs that I did, a lot of the logos are quite bold. We maybe like big writing that just wasn't even distasteful, I wouldn't say, but just kind of not refined.
I was just about to say,
not refined. That's the word, isn't it?
Refined. Everything in your collection now is just so refined. You can tell that it's Aztec. So I can imagine that when you were first starting out, it was kind of a little bit
trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a mistake's only a mistake if you make it twice, right?
Yeah, that's so true. We've got a couple of pairs of breeches online at the minute, and they're like quite bold colours, which is something that, and this is probably quite a good lesson. They're not colours that because I design for me, really. I think that's one of the main reasons that the brand's done so well, because if I wouldn't wear something, I wouldn't produce it. So, kind of when you're dipping into different things, and should you be a bit more commercial? Do people want different colours? Do people want, different styles? So we did this pair of breeches, and they're teal and purple, and they just haven't sold half as well as anything else we've ever done. And that kind of taught me that if you wouldn't wear it, then don't even try and do it, because it's not right for the brand. So I think that you just learn, don't you, doing different things and seeing what people like. And
exactly,
yeah, definitely. Good. I mean, that's kind of something to that you can work off with, like in any industry. Almost like it can work really well for ours. Like if I don't really enjoy shooting something, then I'm not going to do as good a job.
That's so true. Yeah,
that's what, like, we at the Social Call, we have videographers and photographers, and everyone has their own thing that they're good at. So we wouldn't send one photographer to this kind of genre of a job. Like, Dean with his lifestyle and his fashion kind of work, we'd send Dean to that. If we were to send Dean on, I mean, to be fair, Dean, you're quite diverse. You're an awful example. There's not many things.
Yeah, I mean, I am great.
If it was a shoot where we had to drink a lot of beer, you probably wouldn't send Dean.
I mean, yes, maybe me 2 years ago, I would have done great on that one. I would have been like, all right, lads, how are you? Let's go.
Again, I'm not jealous of that one.
No,
you're going to be ill for days.
Yeah. I always remember, like, my dad came off drink for Lent, like, many years ago, and I always remember this, and he was like proper ill the next day, and I was like, Mum, where's Dad? She was like, oh, he's still in the loo. He's not feeling so well today. So I can just see that happening to myself. So I'm really kind of quite scared to go back, because I'm going to get ill, and that's not something that's enjoyable to anyone, really.
It's going to be grim. Again.
Loads of fun.
With obviously we're speaking about the future a little bit before kind of, post lockdown. What have you got any big plans for Aztec, or are you kind of steady away? What are you thinking?
I mean, we're in a bit of limbo at the moment, because I did a big design period at the back end of last year, and with obviously coronavirus happening and production being paused quite a lot, there's a lot of stuff that's just ready in the pipeline to come that just hasn't been able to be developed yet. So lots of new products, and I think really the main thing for me for this year was just to get everybody trained successfully in their roles. Like I was saying about the structure, and everything's kind of coming together now. I've just employed somebody else who's going to manage the website, and that was the last kind of missing link in the puzzle. So I think I'm just excited I just miss the crack in the office, I think. But yeah, just getting the structure right and make sure everyone's enjoying the job and knows what they're doing. And I think the sales will just come steadily from them.
Come naturally,
not that we've got bad sales, but no. Yeah, the growth will just come naturally.
I think it takes a lot as a manager to actually start delegating to other people, because you can be quite protective, can't you?
Very difficult. It wasn't even a fact of it being a protective thing, I think, for me. I mean, in some sense it was, but I think when you're an entrepreneur like myself, and every time you need help, you kind of just bring somebody else in with you, so like your friends, your family, that sort of thing. And nobody is trained in the areas that you need them to be in. You know, they're super loyal, they work really hard, but nobody has any set skills in areas that you need. So I found it very difficult to give things to people, because I thought I was putting too much on them because they weren't as trained or as well educated in that area. So I think they found it difficult. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. But now everybody knows what they're doing. It's really easy, because as soon as you mention it, they already know.
Like for anyone who's, I mean, I was going to say younger people, but I mean, you're still like 24, so you're still very young. But like any young up and coming entrepreneurs, what advice would you give?
The main bit of advice that I would give to anybody starting a business is to make sure that what you're doing is unique, because there's no satisfaction in copying another brand, and you will never succeed past another brand if you're just copying what they do. So I think that's the main thing, is if you are going to start a brand, make sure that you have something new to bring to the market, because if not, you're not going to succeed, really. That's the top and bottom of it. If you haven't got anything new to bring, you're just going to be taken from somebody else, which isn't fair.
Yeah, I mean, creating a carbon copy of like anything, it just never does as well, does it?
No. And I think it's just a bit, it's disrespectful, isn't it, to the designer and whoever, the company that's done it in the first place, and then somebody, and obviously you see a lot of it, especially in fashion, kind of brands coming in and taking, there's one thing is inspiration, and then there's one thing, like you say, carbon copy. So I think to be respected and to get the success that you would want if you're going to put all of this effort into a business, is just to be unique, just bring something to the market, or go and work for a brand.
So then you can kind of like learn like how the process is in each individual brand before you kind of go off and start making your own. I think that was actually like,
I think there's a lot of stigma at the minute around everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants their own business, but there's no shame in being a really successful employee within a company. And I think that's the misconception at the minute.
Yeah, I like that, because everyone does just want to kind of, have their own game and be their own boss, but not everyone's cut out for that.
I think people don't really realize what it is. I mean, it sounds like a very glamorous lifestyle, but it's really not. People kind of look at people, maybe even, well, like myself, they'll maybe scroll through my Instagram and think I'm always on holiday, I'm always out all the time. I
mean,
I
you
nice
are
clothes,
like
that sort of thing. But this is the thing. I'm really not. When you're in the office 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, you don't post that on Instagram, do you? Just because you go away for 2 days of the month, you don't post that. So I think people have this misconception of what it actually means to be an entrepreneur. It's really lonely. Like it is lonely. I think people don't get that. And they wouldn't, because why would you post that?
Speaking of Instagram, you got some questions sent to you, correct?
Yes, we did.
Put a little thing on Aztec's page, so got some lovely people asking some questions, so I'm going to ask you some. Is that all right?
Yeah, let's go. That's fine.
Okay, let's see. I like this one. Sis.com. They asked, what's your daily routine on a business day?
Okay, so I usually wake up around 6:45, 7 o'clock. I've always been an early bird, never have an alarm on. I will get up and go to the office. I always have breakfast at the office. Usually do my emails before everyone comes in at 9. Then we get set away at 9. Usually do a few around of the office, working with a few different people. Have lunch at work. Then on afternoons, I usually try and get any design work done so that it's ready to send to the China for the next day, because they're up earlier than us. I usually do that on an afternoon. And then usually, I mean, my days are quite boring, to be honest. I work till about 7, go to the gym, come home, have dinner, go to bed. That's basically me. But yeah, it's different every day, but it's mainly, emails, talking to the manufacturers, going through the products. Depends what time of the year it is.
It's a real like CEO, director of the company lifestyle. It's very like up, work till late. Bit of gym if you can fit it in, bed, back up again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of expecting that, but you got to work hard, play hard kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no days off when you're like that passionate about something. Like that's all you want to do.
I found it really difficult to, well, I still do. I'm not very good at balance at all, and I find it quite uncomfortable to not be at work, because I don't really know what to do with myself. Like, having a day off watching TV, I just wouldn't know what to do. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. So it's something that I think I've been trying to work on recently because I literally, if I don't have holidays or breaks, I just work until I can't work anymore. But
yeah,
I think that's
we're
just
definitely
how,
like
maybe
in the
having
same
your
boat
own
there.
business. Are a lot of people like that? I don't know.
I think everyone's like that at some point, especially like if you are your own boss, because like if you have a day off, you always think like you're so guilty. You think I could be working, I've got stuff to do, but like it can take a day. Like it's fine if you have a day off. And like, I think, like you say, it is really difficult to kind of learn that it is all right to have a day off.
It is all right, yeah.
But it's actually like one of the most important things you can do.
Always
I think I've learned that
yeah.
the hard way over the past few years, I think.
Pom_bear4 asks, what has been your biggest hurdle to overcome?
That's a good one.
I like that one.
Probably so the biggest hurdle we've had in 2018, I had a big production of leggings come for the Christmas sales period, and half of the fabric that was made in a thinner quality, and nobody picked it up at the factory. So all of these leggings came, we sold them all over Black Friday and Christmas, and all of these products were obviously substandard quality. They were really quite thin. Quality wasn't very good because the threads were too strong for the thinness of the fabric. But because they were all mixed in batches, we couldn't tell who'd bought them, who they'd gone to. We couldn't pick through the warehouse and recall them. So I think the biggest hurdle that I've had is kind of overcoming this bad quality reputation from this batch of leggings. And it's really, looking back at it now, this is one of the things that I would probably wish didn't happen. But again, you learn, because I will never sell a product now without checking every single box and every single product. But yeah, just regaining customers' confidence that, we recognize that we had a problem, and anybody that got in touch and said that they didn't like the leggings, we give a new pair to. But it's all of those customers that didn't think to get in touch, just thought that we had bad products. I think it's taken about a year and a half. We're just kind of getting to the end of it now, I think, to kind of get that bad reputation from that one batch kind of gone, really.
It's crazy that it lasted that long to kind of pull it back. One bad move lasts quite a long time, really, when you think about it.
We'll see like a thread on Facebook every now and then of somebody asking for product advice, and you'll see a few people comment saying, don't buy Aztec Diamond, their quality's bad, and we've got to go in and individually, we'll go on and we'll find their order, and it's 100% of the time it's always they've had a pair of these leggings that were obviously the faulty ones. So yeah, just trying to find all of these customers and send them a new pair and regain their confidence. But yeah, I think we've managed to get hopefully about 90% of them. So yeah, we managed that one.
That's good. Pom_bear4 asked another one, which is a good one. What was the hardest thing about starting the business, like starting your own business?
I think probably the loneliness of being an entrepreneur when you work every day till stupid o'clock on your own. I think it's quite. I think that's been probably the hardest thing. You miss out on quite a lot. I think, especially when I was first starting the brand, a lot of social things where all my friends went off to university and were going out every night, and I was at work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I think that was probably definitely the hardest thing in the beginning, was really being disciplined and not allowing myself to kind of go out all the time, and making sure that I stuck to what I was doing. I think that was definitely the hardest thing starting up.
It takes a lot of self-control.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to drive your passion and kind of know where you want to be, I would guess.
Yeah.
I'm a very disciplined person, and I think all people that have their own business need to be.
Of course, yeah. Grace Laura Edwards asks, tips for a 17-year-old girl who wants to have her own successful business.
I think definitely get some education in as many areas as you can. Learn. I mean, you don't need to go to university. Anything that you would want to learn about business is available on Google. So I think just research, make sure you know your industry, make sure that you know your product, make sure that there's a need for your product in the market, which is the main bit of advice I would give. Like I was just saying before, you can't start a business and expect to be successful if nobody needs your product. So I think that's the main bit of advice I'd give.
That's good. I like that. 17, she wants to start her own business. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good confidence.
Yeah, It's good that, you know, we have all them younger people, like that generation growing up wanting to start their own business and doing something different. That's great.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because when we were younger, we kind of aspired, well, our generation kind of aspired to pop stars and like, you know, like actresses and things like that. Whereas now it's kind of people want to be entrepreneurs and start businesses, don't they?
Yeah, to be fair, I wanted to be Spider-Man till about 3 years ago. Like,
Adam, let's not lie, mate. You still want to be Spider-Man.
I do, yeah. Every time I see a spider, I'm like, please bite me.
Bit weird.
A bit weird. Troubling Ponies asks, what job roles do you have being a brand CEO?
That's a good one.
Everything.
Everything, yeah. I think the good thing about starting a business yourself and kind of coming up from the ground is that you have to do every single job within the business at some point in your time before you delegate it to somebody else. So you learn everything in so many different areas. So yeah, everything really.
Yeah, everything. Nothing. No one does anything that you don't do.
No,
they just do it for a little bit longer.
I haven't done.
Yeah,
I can't remember which CEO it is, but they went round either before they started the business or while the business was, you know, kind of up and running, and made sure they understood just how every single job role worked, so that they could delegate people to the right kind of job role.
And they understood.
Yeah, so they actually understood what everyone does and how it works. Because I mean, what
I think it's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody's
like, as a CEO,
looking to you for help and advice, because that's essentially what your job role is. If somebody, you know, you help and guide people underneath you to do their job. If you don't understand what they're doing and how to help them, there's not really much hope for them, is there?
Yeah, like you've got to know the process from A to Z, really, because like if there's a weak link in the chain, then.
I'm actually going to jump over onto another. You just mentioned the process there for the product. Quite a good one to kind of delve into would be like, how does the product process look from, you know, your first pencil to paper? Because you design everything yourself, right?
Yes, I do. So the first part of the process was, I think I'm a very naturally creative person anyway, which is probably quite obvious. So I will start design. I usually have some ideas in my head anyway, because I'll know that I'm coming up to the period where I need to start designing. So, and I think really what I just start doing is I just start drawing. So I sit down. I usually take like a week or two out of the office so that I'm not distracted. And yeah, I just start drawing, start researching and looking for inspiration and pulling mood boards together and start drawing. Then I narrow my ideas down. Then I have to, once you've kind of got a few concepts that you like, you've then got to transfer them onto a computer, so draw them electronically. Then they'll go off to the manufacturer. The manufacturer will send back fabric samples of what you've specified. Pick your fabric samples. Then the manufacturer will make the first samples. They get sent back to you. You then assess the first samples. Is there any pattern changes? Is there any fit changes? Kind of go through all of the smaller details. And then you do a few rounds of this. So this probably takes maybe 2 months, I would say, to go through all the rounds of samples, coming backwards and forwards. And then, yeah, you'll sign off your end sample, place your order. Then once the fabrics are ready and dyed your colour, they'll send you a final gold sealed sample, which you need to approve and sign off. And then, yeah, it goes into production. So the whole process is probably 6-7 months.
What? That's mental. I would not have thought it was that long of a process, but that's crazy. Like half a year for like just one product.
Yeah. I think it's sometimes, you'll see kind of copies of your product in the marketplace, and it gets a little bit frustrating because you know that they've kind of pulled your product off your website and sent it to somebody to just be copied. But yeah, the design process is about 6 months from pencil to production.
there mustn't be anything worse than seeing, a product pop up that looks like really like that. You just know they've seen yours and copied.
It's
like that
very
must be the worst
when you see it and you think I've drawn that with a pencil. But yeah, it's that's one of the hardest things to deal with, I think.
Yeah,
especially
really
a lot of the team find that a lot more insulting than I think I do. I'm quite oblivious to it all, but yes, that's the difficult one to go through, I think. But any designer, anyone that's doing well or leading in a market is probably going to have that, and you've just got to take it as a compliment, I suppose.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
hard gritted smile.
Well, that's it. Imitation is the best form of flattery, isn't it?
Sure.
You mentioned like inspiration there when you're like, you know, when you're looking to draw your products and design your products. Is there anyone you go to specifically, or aside from that, is there anyone like a business inspiration that you have, like, do you always look to?
Yeah, so there's probably two people that I inspire to the most. The first one is Stella McCartney. I think she's an incredible woman. Just her whole ethos behind her whole business, the way she works, and also as a designer for her collections for Adidas, probably been one of my biggest inspirations as to what I've kind of taken and put into my industry. So I really respect her and look up to her. And the other one's Victoria Beckham. I just love Victoria Beckham. I think she's fantastic as a businesswoman, as a designer. I think I would cry if I met her. She's probably
she's a boss.
Yeah,
like, she's a boss. Like, everyone knows Victoria Beckham.
Yeah.
Like, she's gone from being like the football wife to like
just being badass.
She's just
like
badass.
Owning her own name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
I mean, her name itself just holds a lot of weight. Like, she's just kind of become her own brand almost.
Yeah, she has, and she's done so well.
She had a hand in designing the one of the Range Rovers like a couple of years ago, which is just like so bizarre.
Was it the Velar? I think it was the Velar, wasn't it? That she did.
The one before that, like the smaller one, Evoque.
Evoque.
Is that the right one?
Oh, maybe that's the right one. It's in that. I remember. I think I watched a small documentary on that. Like
that's
a whole
crazy.
Video.
I didn't know that. Like,
yeah. So Jordan, you just need to get a Range Rover Evoque, and then you can be kind of. Hey Vicky,
you're basically
look, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Adam, do you want to finish on a couple more questions from Instagram?
Yeah, sure. Let me just pull them back up. This is kind of a nice little ending note. We kind of spoke about it a little bit before, but did you ever imagine Aztec Diamond becoming what it is now?
No, I get asked this question quite a lot.
All the time, yeah.
The answer is yes. I think I've always been very confident that the brand would do well. Maybe a little bit too cocky confident when I was younger, but failing wasn't an option, and I knew the brand was going to work because I knew that there was a need for it. So I think it's really difficult, isn't it? Because when you think about the future and where do you want to be and where do you want to see yourself, usually when you think about that in a business sense, you think of it with a number rather than what your life's actually going to be like. So it's hard to visualize that the brand would be where it is, but it's strange. You don't really feel that different. It's only when every now and then when something happens, like say the Forbes thing or like winning an award, where you actually sit back and you think, wow, like I've created that. Because every day in normal life, it just feels like the same. You just change, you just move a little bit further down the ladder.
Yeah, you need to kind of take a step back and actually look at what's happened and then think, oh wow, like I've actually done quite a lot. But like you put enough love and passion and time into anything and well, you can build an empire really. And I think like you're like testament to that pretty much.
I think it's just remembering the reason why you did it in the first place. One of my favorite books is from a guy called Simon Sheik. I don't know if you've read it, and it's called Start With Why, and it kind of goes back and it reverts back as to why you do what you do and the reasons behind it. And I think that's what you need to keep remembering as you move forward. And yeah, I think you'll keep being successful.
I love it.
Love that.
Jordan, before we finish, where can people go to find you online?
So my website is aztecdiamondequestrian.com.
Amazing. And what about you personally? We got some people coming to you personally? Where do they go?
My Instagram is my full name _X.
There you go.
Awesome.
All links will be in the show notes below. Thank you everyone for joining us. Jordan, thank you for joining me and Adam over Skype.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Little pleasure. Lockdown podcast. Hopefully we'll get you one in the future. Maybe in person. Like
we might be lucky.
Close than 2 meters in person.
No, still 2 meters on the other side of the table though.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, social distancing forever now.
Don't know where you've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Adam. Like,
yeah, especially me. You really would not want to know, but thanks, John. Thank you so much for coming on, and stay safe, and keep
hopefully we'll
amazing.
see you on the shoot.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you so much. Speak soon, John.
Bye.